Welcome to the Moxie Press podcast. You might notice, hey, your background looks a little different today, and it's also not your secondary background from when you record in your home office sometimes. Well, that's because I am actually doing this from London this week. If you're on video, you look behind me, you can see some of London. Uh, you can see the eye back there, but this thing is blocking it. Anyway, wanted to record a short episode today. Nothing too crazy. Just wanted to go over a couple things. The first thing we're going to go over is this. I know, I'm in London, so why am I holding up a copy of Silly American? Because we still have less than 100 copies left. If you've never tried to sell a book, trying to sell your final 100 or so copies is such a crazy task. You would never believe it. But guys, this thing, it'll go. When it goes, we don't know if we're restocking it. I don't have to get into the details too much. I can tell you that if you want to learn about lobbyists, the three strikes law, net neutrality, filibusters, bail, squirrels, cup holders, tailgating, tipping, private prisons, athletics funding versus arts funding, driver's ed, driving age, donkey and elephant, and I don't know how many I listed, but there are 76 topics total because America. Get it. Silly American. It's a great book. It's a funny book. At times it's a serious book, but it makes a great gift. It makes a great birthday gift. It makes a great holiday gift. It makes a great election year gift. Come on, guys. Go to our website, Silly American. Find it there. Secondaries? No, I'm not going to restart this recording now either. Secondly, the author spotlight. Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what that means, because some people they see that on social media and our newsletters, like, oh yeah, they have this author spotlight. Like, what is it? Why is it such a big deal to them? And if you don't know what it is, if you don't have the full picture, I am here to give it to you. The Moxie Press Author Spotlight began as a monthly endeavor to feature indie writers from all over, as long as they were kind of progressive minded, leftist minded indie writers. They would submit their work to us. We would put it in our newsletter, and then eventually we started interviewing them on the podcast, as I'm sure you've heard. Now, what we want to do is make it a more frequent thing. We want to expand it. We want to make it bigger and better. By doing that, we want more submissions, and we want people to share it, and we want people to subscribe to our newsletter. We want all three of these things. Subscribe, share the newsletter with people, and share the sign-up form with writers you know, or if you're an indie writer, submit yourself. We want to feature progressive indie voices. We want to feature diverse voices. We want stories, can be any genre, can be anything, but recently with S. Nicole's Where the River Meets the Soul, with that book, it was a fantasy book, but it's an asexual Black fantasy book, so it has this huge, it represents so much. So it can be something within the confines of a genre you love. It can be science fiction. It can be nonfiction. We love nonfiction. It can be action. It can be thriller. But how are we diversifying our characters? What story are we telling? What is the core message? How is that rooted in forward thinking ideology, basically? So we take these submissions, we sort through them, we feature them in our newsletter, and we interview the writers for the podcast. Perfect world, we do it weekly. Right now, we're looking to expand beyond a month, even if it's every other week. In October, you will get 2 of them, and you'll see why when that comes. I don't want to spoil much more, but it's become a very integral part of our business model. It is the thing that honestly people on social media and our fans have gravitated to the most, I believe. Writers want to be seen, and we want to give a platform to them. And nothing that we put in the spotlight will be claimed by us. We do not have ownership over what you submit. We're purely giving it a platform for people to see. If it is something that's already self-published, then that is still yours. If it's not, it's still yours. You wrote it. There's no sense of like, I guess we're publishing it, even though we are a publisher. That is not with it. We are technically publishing it live for people to see, but Moxie Press in no way will own your work. This is purely for you. There's also no charge to submit, and we hope to keep it that way, primarily by monetizing the newsletter through ads and sponsorships and sales of our books, etc. We want to keep the author spotlight free. For writers specifically, because we know it's annoying when you're like, oh, it's a $50 fee to submit to this thing. We're not a big literary magazine. We'll probably never do a printed version of this. It's purely for newsletter. It lives in that space. It's in your inbox. You can read it when we release it. What else? Honestly, it's very important to us. We love doing it, and we love, love, love the conversations we're having with writers. In fact, where I'm having one this week with a writer while I'm here in London. It's something that when we started doing it, we did not know how it was going to go or feel, and turns out it's going pretty well. Feels really good. So that is the Moxie Press Author Spotlight. Notice I don't say monthly anymore because, like I said, we want to expand it. We want to make it better. So please share the newsletter with people so they can subscribe, and you can show them, hey, look at all this cool stuff that they're showcasing, selling, that they're spotlighting, all that. Share the form with writers. That form is on our website, very top of the page, and also in multiple spots on the website. If you go to our social media, you can also go to the link in bio, and it'll be there in our link tree. It's all there, we promise. 3, submit your writing yourself. If you're a writer and listening to this, likely you are, show us your work. Honestly, it's, again, free to do, so we let you know either way, whether we choose it or not. And it's purely just the capacity issue. If it doesn't get chosen, it's because we only have up to about 4 slots a month in the future. So just know that you really have nothing to lose by submitting. Selfishly, it gives us stuff to read, which is a lot of fun, and it's good to get your work out there. And as we grow the platform, as we grow the newsletters, we grow everything, as we evolve, we hope to give a bigger and bigger platform to indie writers and indie voices and forward-thinking progressives and leftists, because there's a lot of creative work out there, and we don't want it. Well, one, we don't. If it's out there already, if you've self-published and you feel like not enough people are seeing your work, we want to help you there. We also want to encourage people who are nervous to submit writing or submit a short story. Just do it. You never know. And if you're too nervous to do it with, let's be honest, a more well-known literary magazine, that's fine. Submit to us. We'll, if it gets through and we feature it, those are people who would not have ever seen your work otherwise. So we really want to encourage people to submit and to do this, because I've been on the writer side of things, and this is corny, but it is true. You do miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So don't let that stop you from doing this. We are the perfect entry point for new writers, I promise. If there are any other questions, you can always email us, moxie@moxiepress.biz. You can also message us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. We've been very active on Threads lately. Love Threads. Go there. Let us know if you have any questions, please. We're here. We're small. We're 2 people. We will get back to you, I promise. So thank you so much for listening, watching. If you're looking at this on YouTube, like, subscribe, share this podcast, do all the things you're supposed to do with podcasts, do all the things you're supposed to do with our newsletter. Follow us on all the social media platforms. Hit us up there. Tag us in things. We love interacting with all of you. It makes all of this so worth it, between the podcast, between submissions, between all the love we get on social media. That's honestly why we're doing it. It's amazing to connect with this community and to build it. So hit us up where you can. I'm going to get back to being a fancy man in London. I would pick up my laptop, but there's stuff on it and it's kind of crazy. But trust me, it's really cool here. And also, cool. Like, the weather is great. And I have not had weather this cold since being in the Bay Area. So I feel very at home. All right. That's been it for this week. As always, on behalf of Jesse as well, lead with Moxie.